non-voice, finance and accounting, HR outsourcing, legal process outsourcing. We also cover IT outsourcing, engineering services outsourcing, and animation and game development. They now like to call themselves the creative process outsourcing sector. So we have over 200 members in BPAP. Many of them, half of them are BPOs and ITOs, and the other half are the vendors or suppliers. So we have all the telcos, the real estate companies, the system integrators, training centers, etc. And we also have 5 member associations, including the Contact Center Association of the Philippines, the Philippine Software Industry Association, Animation Council of the Philippines, and the Medical Transcription Industry Association of the Philippines. And our newest member is the Game Developers Association of the Philippines. So together we really represent a majority of the employees and professionals who work in IT BPO in the Philippines. This is our results for 2009. So you can see from the original roadmap that was created some years ago, we have achieved a lot as a country. We now earn over $7 billion in revenues. That was as of last year, and that is a 19% growth during the global crisis. So this is one of the fastest growing industries, especially in the past 2 years, where a lot of the other industries have really suffered a little bit more than we did. We had a slowdown. We used to grow, our target growth was actually around 40%. So for us, 20% is very slow. But compared to others, it's quite fast. You can see that the contact center sector is still about 2/3 of the entire industry, followed by very fast-growing back office and knowledge process outsourcing sector. And then the third largest is the IT outsourcing sector, which faced some contraction last year. Not so much, you'll see the employment slide, they did not really reduce employment, but they reduced their prices to maintain their clients. While some of the other sectors just held steady during the crisis and did not grow, but also did not contract. And of course, the baby, the Game Development Association, is still very small, so still recording those very high growth rates that we once used to say for the whole industry, and they grew 50% last year. So here we are in terms of jobs. We created over 70,000 jobs last year. Most of them, again, 2/3 in the contact centers, and then followed by back office KPO, which grew 25%, and then the rest did not grow except for game development, which is still small. So all in all, we have about almost 450,000 people already working in our IT BPOs. What happened in 2009 was that there was a slowdown in the first half. It was very marked. We saw virtually no growth in the first half, but in the second half it started picking up. That's when you started seeing the banners appearing on EDSA and SLEX, billboards, hiring, full-page ads returned to all the dailies. In one weekend, I counted about 10 million pesos worth of ads in one weekend. Over 30 companies were advertising that they were hiring. And this has continued into the first quarter of 2010. So contact centers actually carried us through the crisis because the contact centers continued to grow, and they even grew over 20% in 2009, which was even faster than 14% that they grew in 2008. And previously, they used to be considered the mature sector, so they were expected to grow slower than the other sectors. But during the crisis, things changed, and the contact centers saw us through the crisis. But back office and KPO is relatively smaller, but very fast growing because it's tapping on a very underutilized talent pool that we have in terms of our accountants and our highly skilled professionals like lawyers and those in the medical profession. IT, as I mentioned, faced a very tough environment, so they had to lower their prices so that they could maintain their employment, and the other sectors held steady except for game development, which grew. In 2009, we continued to attract attention. We're now in the books of the major global research companies like Everest Research came out in January of 2009, telling the world that the Philippines has an untapped non-voice capability. And this is something we are focusing on now, is to really grow this sector. We also did very well in the report of Global Services and Tolerance on the top 50 emerging outsourcing cities report, which they come out with every year, the past 4 or 5 years. Cebu has placed #1 in emerging global outsourcing city in the past 2 years, and the Philippines is acknowledged to be the #2 offshore nation in the world after India. If you hear other reports about China being #2, you might consider that they might be talking partly about outsourcing within China, also non-English outsourcing, which is again limited mostly to China. And also they do a lot of IT. So when you talk about BPO, it's really India and then the Philippines. Manila, of course, is one of the established cities after the major Indian cities of Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai. Although in terms of number of workers within a single city, Metro Manila is the largest in the world. We are also known for our, of course, our contact centers in English, finance and accounting, legal services, animation, game development, for HR, and Makati is known for its HR, and Cebu is also known for contact centers in English, finance and accounting, HR, legal services, and in fact, this year, you will see JP Morgan Chase Bank opening their in-house BPO in Cebu. This is the first, what we call them captives, because they're just doing services for JP Morgan worldwide. And traditionally, all the captives stay inside Metro Manila, but they're now venturing out into Cebu. And that is really worrying some of the third-party providers there, because captives usually offer higher salaries and are therefore more attractive to workers. The World Bank also acknowledged at the last quarter that the BPO has established itself as a preferred choice. And this was confirmed when the Philippines was named the best offshore destination of the year by the National Outsourcing Association of the United Kingdom in November 2009. This is the second time that the Philippines was named best offshore destination by NOAA. The first was in 2007. In 2008, they named Egypt. BPAP also has a roadmap, which is also ending this year. And we are also looking to update it. So we'll probably do some of it together with CICT, as we do almost all of our projects. And you can see that our structure is similar to CICT. We do focus on human development, human capital development. We call it talent development. We have our operational performance, quality infrastructure, and the conducive business environment, which we group into talent, next wave cities, and the business environment. So next wave cities is something that Mon and I put together with the cyber corridor, cyber services corridor, cyber corridor. So this is a project that we do closely together as we do many of the other projects. So just a little bit more detail in terms of talent development. We have an English pre-employment training program, which we're rolling out in universities, and we've already trained about over 130 teachers. And this has been the major challenge, is really to train the teachers. We wish that it would be much further on than it is now, and so we're seeking to address that. But we have shown in the pre-tests that it is effective. It improves the employment chances of a student who can pass this program by 60%. 60 to 70% of the students who take this are able to find a job after graduation. It's also good for other industries and not just BPO, but it does have specify the skills that we need for BPO. We also identified that we need a lot of managers. We need a lot of Filipino workers who have management skills Therefore, we're investing in management programs. We've tied up with some of our members like John Clemens Consultants and the Harvard Business Publishing, or Harvard Business Publishing New Manager Program and Middle Manager Program. Ateneo and LaSalle also would like to get into the management development aspect of talent development, and they have their own in-house programs that they also do for other companies. Of course, CICT and PGMA have helped us with TESDA also in distributing vouchers for scholarships. This is in training through TESDA. And you can see that for the certificates that BPAP was given to distribute to training centers and companies and schools, we have tracked the employment rates of those who have trained under these vouchers, and at least 67% passing for contact centers and higher rates for the other sectors. BPAP and CICT also joined forces in this career caravan. It was called Convergence 2009 by CICT, and we traveled to 11 cities. 10 of them were the next wave cities, and we included also Quezon City and Cebu. This is a very important program, and I'll get back to why it's so important later on. I pressed the wrong button. Okay. So this is the next wave cities report that we published with CICT and DTI this year. DTI is also a partner in this program, and we identified the best 10 places for ITPPO location based on investor criteria in the Philippines. And CICT was instrumental in helping us gathering the data from the field, and also very useful that MON has formed so many ICT councils around the Philippines, so they're able to help us